Juan Pablo Montoya. Arguably, of course, this is going to be his biggest challenge yet. He's going to be taking part in this race with our other Pro-Am teams in the Group 3 machines, so GT3 style machines that you guys have all seen before at previous events. Now, it's going to be a 10-lap race here, so nice, easy race. And the race... Hello, Tom. Welcome back.
Sorry there.
Well, we've got Tom back up in the booth. It's a 10-lap race, and as Tom said right now, we're going to be racing at the Circuit de Catalunya. Let's have a look at that circuit in more detail. So here it is, then the Circuit de Catalunya, located in Catalonia, as implied by the title, of course. Just over 4.6 kilometres of racetrack, a circuit a lot of you guys will be familiar with at home, and our guys here as well. Overtaking zones down at T1 and T10, the best zones to get past there, using the draft into the tight hairpin corners. Not much of an elevation change between the highest and lowest part of the circuit. There's something to note, of course, that each of our drivers must drive at least 4 laps minimum. So the format we tend to see, or the thing we're going to see, is that the pro driver are probably driving for 6 laps, and we have the amateur driver probably for 4 laps. Tom, welcome back. That was a very nice entry there, mate.
Sorry about that. Kind of gate crashed my way in, didn't I?
Just swanned your way in, didn't you?
I tell you what, though, this is going to be hugely exciting. You've mentioned about the driver lineup there, Jimmy, and well, you look at the likes of Juan Pablo Montoya, Igor Fraga. That's a very strong driver pairing. You look at Mikael Hazal and Super GT. That's a very strong driver pairing. You've spoken to Super GT Steve Brown as well about what his tactics are going into this one. I think they're pretty interesting, to say the least.
Well, he jokingly said that he was probably going to try and make a lunge down at T1 on a certain driver involved. Yeah, I think I'll leave up that driver surprised to find out when that happens. But yeah, a great field of drivers. I think it's unfair to call half these guys AMs, to be honest.
That's very true, actually. There's a lot of drivers with a lot of experience. You look at like Jordan Greer, for example. He's a man who runs GT Planet. He knows Gran Turismo inside out, and we know how quick he can be. I hark back, actually, a memory of Jordan when he was in the 2017 launch of GT Sport, and he managed to win that race against some very competitive other drivers, so he could be one to watch out for as well. And he's also got Ryota Kokubun alongside him, again a driver who we hold in very high esteem here in GT.
Yeah, definitely. Jordan, a person who has not very much luck in the media races, it's fair to say. But what we're going to do now is going to pop down to Julia to get a bit more information on our competitors.
Well, hello. Yeah, we're down on the floor. I'm sad I'm not up in the little skybox with you guys, but the excitement down here is pretty palpable. Very excited. The GT family's growing a little bit there with Michelin coming on board. But let's get straight to this Pro-Am race. I'm here with, oh my God, it's Firefox. How are you doing, Sonia?
Good, good. I'm excited. Yeah.
Are you happy? Are you keen and happy, ready to go? Well, who's your target for this race? What do you reckon?
Listen, I don't know. Who are we taking out?
Come on, Nick. Who we go for, Nick?
I think Juan Pablo Montoya is looking like a good candidate. It's going to be our only chance ever to do it. So.
I mean, let's be honest. Yes, this is the only chance you'll probably ever beat him in real life.
If you have a chance, take it.
There we go. All right. Are you feeling confident though?
Yeah, I've got Nick on my team. I think we got this.
Okay. All right. Moving on. We got Kamil Kaluski, who's actually got Cody on his team there. Who's already. I don't know. I feel wrong to disturb. Ryan. How are you doing? He's really focusing right now. I think everyone's taking this quite seriously. How are you feeling, Cody, more importantly?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I mean, anything can happen. Obviously, our goal is to finish up there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who are you going to take out? Who you got your eye on? Has anyone ever written anything about you didn't like?
Super GT is right next to us, so maybe we'll do something questionable, but we'll see. I want a clean race, but anything can happen.
I mean, it's a Pro-Am, right? It's cool. All right, let's go find out if he's got some smack talk for you. I'll let you get back on and get prepared for the race there. So we're coming round this way. Ah. Hey, how you doing?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. I love disturbing them when they're practicing. How confident are you feeling in this Pro-Am?
Good. Thanks to Mick for putting it on pole for me. But
I mean, you've got Mick on your team, so you've done pretty well there.
Yeah, I think that's half the job, really, just getting the best driver with me. So should be okay. Best team, yeah.
Mick, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel like I'm blessed right now because meme boy over here, meme team. So basically, for the Shadow Realm team, we are trying to give our best. So.
Oh, well, good luck. You get back to practicing. We're going to duck back here and go and see the other way. Here we go. Hi. How are you doing? I'm going to come in between you there. There we go. All right, Matt, how's it going?
So I heard none of that.
Okay. How confident are you feeling in terms of the amount of Snickers that you could eat?
Well, I haven't had any today, so hopefully that will improve my weight ratio as we go around the lap, a bit lighter.
Sorry, fans of Matt will know that he did an entire video about like the cost of racing rigs compared to the amount of Snickers bars that you could buy. And he's not even a big Snickers fan. It's very odd. How are you feeling? Confident?
Yeah, we're confident. He's game time. He's picked up really quickly, so no, we're going to be good.
I think everyone's very confident, but everyone's kind of taking this quite seriously, especially some of the guys who write for some of the motorsport things, but that's quite normal. I'm going to leave these guys to get on with it, and let's kick off this prime race. Going to chuck it upstairs to the nest. What are we calling it up there, guys? Tom and Jimmy.
Well, you've got to put a name for it than whatever we have there, Julia, because I've got no idea what on earth we're going to call it. What should we call this place? The hub, the wing, the nest, the wing?
The nest sounds a little bit like nightclubby.
Yeah, it sounds like a dodgy nightclub as well. There's a few of those around here, let's be fair. I tell you what, though, those drivers, they're full of confidence, though, aren't they, there, to be honest, and quite rightly so.
Yeah, definitely. And let's go over our start list. As you have been through them already, as you can see, all our guys there, we have our amateurs on the left and the pros on the right. Again, not really right to call a lot of those guys on the left amateurs, but 11 cars taken to the grid here today. 11 cars down in T1. Should be interesting.
Yeah, it certainly will be. By the way, these lineups for this race, the driver lineup, is based on a free practice session that they had earlier on this afternoon. So that is how they have lined up. So, for example, Super GT and Hizal on pole position. Here they are all lined up then, ready to go racing. So it's going to be a rolling start here at this circuit, de Barcelona, Catalunya. Now, the first corner, Jimmy, it's not necessarily that tight, but we know that it can cause some fireworks, especially with these guys going in with the clearest view.
Yep, definitely. And a lot of guys out there, of course, saying they're going to go for that T1 lunge. Interesting to hear Nick McMillan there saying, yeah, we're going to go for Montoya down there. It's our only chance to. Not really in the sport of fair play, old Tom. Always got to be focusing on that sportsmanship, haven't you?
Yeah, you have. Yeah, don't become a missile. That's the last thing you want to do. There's Reader McMillan in the Ford GT. They line up in 5th position. Alongside them, it's Gallagher and Simmons. We know how competitive that pairing can be, but only qualified down in 6th position. Then Ren and Valverde in the Corvette C7 machine. Alongside them, it's Bird and Pinnell. Canadian driver Pinnell there. He is the pro driver for that team. Then Montoya and Fraga. So work to do for those guys from 9th position, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, well, for their benefit, they've got not many people behind them, so they're safe down in T1 maybe, we'll see. But Abernathy and Nick there in 11th place, and they are rounding off our grid. Rolling start here, of course, at Barcelona with Super GT and Mick Hizal leading off the field. Super GT, I think, in the car at the moment is here. So,
yeah, the AM drivers are starting this race.
Yeah, so as I said before at the start, 4 laps is the minimum drive time. So I'll be interested to see if the guys at the top of the field are going to try and get the drivers in quickly, get the pro in, and then go for the win. As you said, Tom, this is meant to be a bit of a fun race, but a lot of guys down there taking this rather seriously.
Well, understandably so as well. Crucially as well, you can see the left-hand side of your screen there. Everybody starts on the the hard compound tyres rather, except for the mediums of Bird and Pinnell. Interesting tyre strategy there going on. Will that be a risk that pays off for them, do we reckon?
No idea. I didn't know we had tyre strategy in this race, so that's news to me. But good commentate. Anyway, coming around the last corner now, it will be Super GT. Ram Shadow, as you may know him, and taking the green flag in the Subaru. Just waiting back to come out, and then it's going to be a rush down to T1. Anybody's game. So just getting those tyres nice and warm now, waiting for lights. There you go. 3, 2, 1, and we are away for the Pro-Am exhibition race here at New York, and the Super GT predictably leading the field down to T1. That Mazda behind has legs as well, but look at the Mercedes in third position, already in the slipstream of the Subaru. Super GT going to the inside straight away to defend the corner. Looks like he's going to lead into T1. Looks like the Mazda's going to try and make a move around the outside. No, Kaluski takes second place. Greer goes down into third. Matt Gallagher up into fourth. More importantly, Montoya and Fraga up into 5th position. What a start from those guys.
Brilliantly late braking there from Juan Pablo Montoya up into 5th position. Also, Gallagher and Sim getting the better of Reed and McMillan. So that car of Reed, the Canadian driver, in the field at the moment, now down into 6th place from their 4th position start. Also, moves being made further back as well was Bird and Pinnell go down the order at the expense of Ren and Valverde, and also Ismail and Miyazono making their way up through the field. Running on board here with Montoya into the left-hander. He's got Matt Gallagher in front of him through the left-hander, and then coming up in towards, and a bit of a slip and a slide there for Greer. Jordan Greer has made a mess of his exit going through turn number 5, and he slides down the order. And look as well, big drama there, as well as Kalusi makes a Horlicks of turn 7. That allows Gallagher and Sim to come through as well as Montoya Montoya and Fraga's machine, but that is an absolutely dramatic opening lap, and here comes Montoya now, all over the back of Matt Gallagher in the slipstream he is. Gallagher's surely going to go defensive and force Montoya to take the long way round. Into the braking zone of turn 10 we go, nearly down the inside and down the inside for Juan Pablo Montoya, through ahead of Matt Gallagher here in Catalonia, from 9th to 2nd in the space of 3/4 of a lap.
Tell you what, I'm not sure Matt will mind that too much, being overtaken by Montoya, a bit given that he's a massive F1 fan, of course, but that does put Montoya up into 2nd position. Now, can he chase down Super GT? That's the question. The gap already up to 4 seconds at the front there. Montoya making a hash that hits the curb there, gets it sideways, just about gathers it back up again, but there's a 2nd position he fought so hard for is now lost again. He's going to have to try and chase down Gallagher one more time, but still, despite that little mini half spin there, up into 3rd after the first lap. Here are our leaders right now. Super GT looking nice and easy at the front of the field there. Not had the chance to send Montoya to the shadow round as he wanted to earlier on, as he was saying, but I think he's happy enough to be out front and leading, and importantly, Tom, gap's increasing.
Yeah, 4.6 seconds at the end of lap 1. That's a very impressive opening lap there from Super GT, doing exactly what he wanted and needed to do. Here is Matt Gallagher now with a bit more daylight between himself and Montoya after that mistake from Montoya in the final sector. Also on that first lap, we saw a bit of drama coming out of the hairpin of turn 10. That was the Porsche 911 of Bird and Pinnell. So those guys coming into even more strife at the end of their first lap. So things not going their way at all. They're actually down into 11th position. So from bad to worse, really, for that team as things stand. Here is Kaluski, though, behind the wheel of the machine. He's got Cody Dukowski as a teammate. And Cody, we know how much of a fan of the Mercedes he is. So he'll be very pleased with the car choice that he has at the moment. There is Jordan Greer, though. And that's impressive, actually, from Greer behind the wheel of that car, because we saw him at this point on the opening lap making a big mistake and sliding down the order. He's managed to make his way back into 5th position.
Jordan was saying before the race that if he doesn't do well in this race, he's going to get a lot of stick for it on the back on the Gran Turismo Planet forums, and I think it's probably going to happen again, isn't it? He's just gone back with him. And there's Mike Verney there from Drive Tribe, currently middle of the pack in 6th position. So we have a little bit of team radio right now, and we have Mike on screen. So let's see if we can listen to Mike Verney's team radio.
Because you have more power.
Yeah. Yeah, he says. I think what we have in there was...
Toyota is very fast on the straight. You can take benefit.
You know, these guys are battling ahead of me.
Yeah, the voice there of Mike Verney from Drive Tribe.
Oh, I'm shaking a bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's shaking a bit because he's looking at this action going on in front of him as well between Greer and Kaluski. Side by side they come down the start-finish straight, heading in towards turn number 1, over the brow of the hill. The Mazda on the inside, the Mercedes on the outside. Greer trying to attack against Kaluski. Is he going to have a lunge down to turn 1? Yes, he is, and straight into the back of Kaluski there goes Verney as well.
Yeah, fantastic move there, and that's there. That also Mike Verney in the background coming up into 5th position, so bad to worse for Greer. But what we're going to try and do is get some team radio on our current leaders, which will be Super GT and Mick Hazal. We'll see if we can get that up for you guys shortly.
Down in towards the right-hander as well. Here is Super GT and Mick Hazal. What have they got to say to one another?
I'm laughing, right? I think they know they're on camera.
Yeah, just making some demonstrations to the camera there, as you can see. Meanwhile, there is Verney just in 4th place. Here is Kaluski in 6th position. Here is Ismail now. He's kind of in the pound seat here because you've got 3 drivers squabbling amongst one another as things stand. They could be in with a chance of taking advantage here. As Jimmy said as well, these AM drivers are going to do a minimum of 4 laps in this race in order to then change over to the pro driver in it. You can see there as well, Verney going defensive against Greer. Down towards turn number 10 we go. Greer having his nose chopped off there as Verney defends the line very nicely indeed. And look at Ismail just going a little bit wide out of turn 10. Doesn't allow Kaluski to close up on him as things stand, but things getting very interesting at the moment. There's kind of 2 battles now going on. It was nearly a 4-way scrap a few moments ago. Now it's kind of 2 battles for separate positions.
Now, this is a good run for Verney so far. I was very nervous in saying that. I think he's just clipped the curb, so a bit of a commentator's curse right there as Verney gets it all wrong coming through the large chicane. Very easy to do that given how high the curbs are. That's going to hurt him all the way down the straight now, but in the meantime, Kaluski and Ismail behind there having a great scrap. On board there with the McLaren. just trying to hold on to the back of the AMG Mercedes coming down the straight. He'll then go to the inside coming down the T1. Great overtaking opportunity there. What will he do later on the brakes? Looks like he's going to slide through on the inside. He does in the background. Ren as well getting involved. And Kaluski is getting absolutely mobbed from both sides. Contact there between the Mercedes and the McLaren. And again, the Corvette running into the back of the AMG. And right now, these guys are in the wars. 6th, 7th and 8th place right next to each other on track. Now it's going to be a drag down to T4. Let's see who has it down here. Here comes Kaluski in the background. The inside, no, he backs out of it. Ren goes inside in contact with Ismail. And he's going to go through. And Ismail gets just rammed off onto the outside of the circuit. Bad luck for him. Wrong place, wrong time. And Ren goes from 8th to 6th place in a couple of corners. And Kaluski looks to the inside as well. These guys are going at it, Tom.
They really are. Very exciting racing between all of them. And, well, I tell you what, Ismail there doing a good job, actually, of keeping things on the straight and narrow after things went very wrong for him. Here's Kaluski down the inside in towards that left-hander of turn 7. Then through the right of turn 8. Now ahead of the Corvette. They are. So very good stuff there. Ren demoted down a position as Kaluski makes some good progress. Now, this is the first opportunity for these drivers to change over to their pro drivers. Now, does Super GT do it? We were speaking to him earlier on, and he says that he was going to after 4 laps, and he does do exactly that. Put Mick Hazal in the car. He said he's going to be the faster choice and the better opportunity in this race.
He was saying, yeah, as soon as I can, I'm getting Mick in the car. I know he's quickest, so Mick getting in the car now, and fresh set tyres going on, medium tyres now.
Montoya, Fraga also following in, as well as Gallagher and Sim. So Fraga now into the car, Simmons into their machine ahead of Gallagher as they all change over. There's the Michelin branded Honda NSX. Out of it they go now, and it's now Igor Fraga behind the wheel of the machine, and we'll have Montoya on the team radio. So this is a position he's not used to being in. He's normally used to probably shouting at his crew member, and now he's going to be in the position where he's going to have to talk to Igor Fraga and give him some good advice.
Fraga crossed over the line there, Igor. I saw that, mate. Don't think I wasn't watching. I don't think we have any stewards in this race at the moment, or not ones that are taking severe actions we would have in the World Tour events, of course. But Fraga there out the pits. In comes Baird of the Porsche. Will be setting over to the hard compounder tyre. They started in the medium. So now we have something that is quite familiar, I think it's fair to say. We're going to have Hazal versus Sim versus Fraga.
Yeah, used to seeing that out on track. Here is Mikhail Hazal. Then you can see a warning's been given to Ren and Valverde following their contact on lap number 4. So no penalties being given out, but a penalty actually being given to Matt Simmons here for one reason or another. It's gone from half a second up to a second, so one would assume that is for exceeding track limits as he does the gain coming out of turn number 9 of Kamsa. Then, sorry, Lakaisha rather, I should say, down in towards that turn number 10. We go. Now it's Igor Fraga. Now he's the driver on the attack. He's going to try and close that gap down to Gallagher, but he's 4 seconds adrift of Simmons, rather, I should say, who's in that machine now. But Mikhail Hazal, the driver who's leading the way and also increasing that advantage after that pit stop. Here is Igor Fraga in 3rd position.
Again, nice to see him at the wheel. I don't think he knew he was partnering Montoya to about a day ago or so. Quite a big achievement, I guess, for someone like Fraga. It'd be quite intimidating teammating here. Meanwhile, in the back of the pack, we have Lopez now, who's taken over from Fernie in the Toyota, making his way back up the field in 5th position. Miyazono in the background there, and Valverde, of course, Costa Rica touring car driver, getting his elbows out as you would expect him to. Up the inside there, he's going to be in the outside for the first part of the chicane, though. Going to try and go side by side. Don't need to get 2 cars through there, but Valverde manages it. Just about a little bit of door-to-door bashing there. And it looks like Valverde goes up into 6th position. That's how you do it, mate.
Nearly 4 corners side by side for those drivers as well. 4th, 6th place, very exciting stuff. They've got the slipstream into effect now. Will Miyazono be able to attack as they come down the start-finish straight against Valverde? He's got the inside line. Will he find his way through? Not quite there. Late on the brakes for Valverde. A little bit too late on the brakes. He misses the apex. That'll compromise his run through turn 2 and will allow Miyazono an opportunity through the right-hander of turn 3. You can see how much more speed he's got. He's got the inside line. It looks like there was a bit of contact between those drivers. It allows Lukovski to draw side by side as well with Valverde. Down in towards the right-hander we go. Nearly 3 wide for position. Very defensive there from Miyazono. Here comes Lukovski on the inside versus Valverde, and he manages to find his way through, but Valverde's going to have the inside line again down in towards the left-hander of turn number 5. Let's listen to some team radio.
3.7 yet.
All the drama's happening behind you.
Yeah.
Just got to keep it clean. These lines are beautiful.
I think slipstream is set on weak, so they have a slipstream from very far away.
Yeah, they're all absolutely diving into the air, but what's that all about?
It's me on the screen.
So here we are, they're back. You see they're just discussing a little bit of tactics there and what's going on behind them right now. And Lopez has got his mirrors full of carnage in the background. Almost 3 cars there going at it. RBF Valverde 6th. We have Miyazono in 7th, and of course Lukowski in 8th position. Someone who's known for his aggression. This pack is just getting closer together. And of course the slipstream down the straight is only going to help that. Immediately Lopez in the Toyota goes to the inside. 3 wide. They're coming across the start-finish line. We have Lukowski on the inside, McLaren in the middle, and then Valverde on the left. Choosing to come out ahead of this. It's a drag race down to T1. Fernandez in front. Lukowski tries to go for both of them. He's going to make it. He's on board side by side. So with Valverde, puts him off onto the green stuff there. So Lukowski nice and aggressive through there. I wonder if the stewards want to look at that or not, but I think that was just very opportunistic there from Lukowski. But Miyazono coming back on the inside now is just placing your car in the right place, and all the while Valverde in the background just looking to try and make those places back.
Good stuff there from Bernie Valverde, trying to find his way through. Side by side he runs with Cody Lukowski. So Lukowski got 2 positions, and he's almost set to lose 2 positions down into the left-hander of turn 5 we go. Valverde on the outside, Lukowski on the inside. Still side by side they come. Lukowski defends his position. Valverde has to duck back into the slipstream. Up in towards turn number 7 we go. On board with the Corvette. Defending is Cody Lukowski here, whilst trying to attack against Takuma Miyazono, but he's got no way to find his way past. Into the right-hander of Lakaisha we go. Very close race indeed, nose to tail they run. 3 drivers all squabbling for position. You can see Miyazono going defensive. Lukowski has to go to the outside line. Here comes Valverde. He sends it down the inside at turn 7. He bites off and Lopez gets biffed off there in the drama as well. Huge drama here at turn number 10 in the Pro-Am race. Lopez gets spun round. Valverde manages to make a complete Horlicks of his braking zone down into turn number 10. You can see the smile on the face of Bernie Valverde there. Well, I think he's got no other opportunity. If he wasn't laughing, he'd probably be crying at the moment.
I think he knows what's coming, that's why. Oh yeah, okay, that was bad. I mean, these guys just getting themselves warmed up, of course, for the Nations race, the manufacturers race coming up a bit later on this week. But you don't want to see that many elbows. Look at that Ford in the background. Here's a replay of what happened. Let's have a look at this. So here is the Supra of Lopez at the front here. Takes his corner normally. Valverde just goes from another postcode.
Yeah, that was never going to work,
what
was
were
it?
you doing, mate? That's not all right.
Goodness me. That was last of the late breakers. And so I love the way that the stewards put up the under investigation ticker tape at the top of the screen there. Like it needs an investigation.
Well, yeah.
I think it's pretty clear cut what's going to happen with that one, don't you? Meanwhile, here is Igor Fraga now behind the wheel of the Honda NSX. And he's closed that gap down quite significantly to Matt Simmons, who is now behind the wheel of the Jaguar, just in the forefront of his shot now. It's down to 1.3 seconds. Meanwhile, we've hardly mentioned him over the course of this one. Mikael Hazal, what a great job he's doing. 9.4 seconds, the advantage now sits to second place.
Yep, he's just doing his thing out there and he's just driving around. He likes being at the front of the field, just making it easy. And unsurprisingly, we have a slowdown penalty there for the Valverde car for colliding with another car. I think colliding is putting it lightly, but yeah, that's what we not really surprised. I'm surprised that Valverde isn't part of the Ram tag on the Gran Turismo. Maybe something to look up for him. Anyway, meanwhile, on board with Fraga, they're getting a little bit sideways coming through the chicane. That is Matt Simmons in front, of course, GT Academy winner a few years ago. And there are some, well, that's not distracting at all. I think you can't really race the jet stand, sorry, can you, Tom?
No, you certainly can't. So you can see the drivers coming along the start-finish straight. Here is the Gallagher-Simmons car. Look at that gap, it's come down significantly over the last lap, or so over the last few laps, really more than anything now here on the penultimate lap. Igor Fraga is in with a really good shout of finding his way through against Matt Simmons. Look at how sideways Matt Simmons was there going through that right-hander. Very good race and great driving as well from the Australian, of course, former GT Academy competitor. We know how competitive he can be, but just not such a situation arising for him in these Group 3 cars here in this race. You can see a penalty there for Valverde on the left-hand side of the screen, of course. He's now serving that. That's why he's dropping down the order as things stand. So penultimate lap time then. So the battle for the race lead as well. It never has been a battle. It's been a clear-cut romp away from the rest of the field for Super GT and Mikael Hazal. But this battle for second place really intensifying here in these closing stages, Jimmy.
It is, and of course, Fraga really in the better position. He's got the slipstream of the Jaguar in front, and coming up now to one of the better overtaking spots on the circuit now. Good run out of T10, very fast right-hander. There you go, over the curb on the outside. Now tuck into the slipstream and see what you can do down the straight. Let's see if Fraga dips out. No, I think he's going to be patient for now. Maybe try coming down the main straight. We're all about positioning your car at this point of the race. You know, the guy in front is going to try and defend the best he can. Best place to do it is down the straight, but there's no denying that Fraga's really put up the gap to Simmons and definitely under threat right now. But all this does really, all this little fighting here just allows an easier reign for Mick Hazal. So here we are then, on board, coming through the right-left. Fraga got an okay run out of there, but then Simmons a little bit slidey on exit now, dipping into the slipstream. Can Fraga get this done? Here we go, you're going to see now the cars get close together as Fraga pulls into the draft, and T1 is probably going to be the best place to try and do it. The Brazilian driver pulls up to the back of Simmons. Will he dive to the inside here? He does. The last minute, late on the brakes, not quite late enough though. Simmons also braking late to try and dissuade Fraga for making the move, and then sideways there, both of them out of T2 as they scramble to get on the power, and now through the very, very long right hand at T3. This absolutely burns the front left tyre. Simmons going a bit wide there. Fraga now on the inside. This might be the chance, but Simmons comes across defensive and keeps second for now. Will Fraga go around the outside? No, hasn't quite got the grip for that, Tom.
Very close racing between them. Notice how they run down towards turn number 5. Isn't normally an overtaking opportunity. Fraga might try and invent something, but I think he's going to play the long game here. You can see Simmons there going late. He's gone well wide. That's allowed Fraga to go through here on the final lap. Brilliant stuff there from Igor Fraga. He pressured Matt Simmons into making a mistake, and that is exactly what the Australian has done here on the final lap of this Pro-Am race. The Honda NSX of Montoya and Fraga now leads in this battle for second.
But more importantly, Tom, coming into the last part of the track now, the last part of the lap, is Mick Hazal. These guys are going to be fighting. I think Fraga's got this now, spinning away from Simmons a little bit, but it's Mick Hazal and Super GT now coming into the last couple of corners. That's Mick Hazal trying to end his curse of second position. And let's see if we can listen in now.
Can you hear it? Smooth operator! Smooth operator! Come on!
Well, I tell you what, that's an ending to the race, isn't it? Super GT and Mikael Hazal do take victory in the Pro-Am exhibition race here in New York for World Tour 3. Juan Pablo Montoya and Igor Fraga finishing in second place. What a great race from the Colombian and the Brazilian here in New York. Third place goes the way of Matt Gallagher and Matt Simmons, the two Matts in third place on the podium. Jordan Greer and Ryota Kokibun in fourth place. Kaluski and Lakowski inside that top 5. And look at this battle, Jimmy, all the way to the line for sixth place.
A great race up and down the field. So I'm still recovering from Hazal's
team radio. Yeah, it's quite a way of doing it, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant stuff there. Here's the team radio again. I think we can listen in. No, there we can't there. Well, I thought we were going to have another listen to that there, but there is Mikael Hazal. There is Steve Brown, otherwise known as Super GT. I think they're pretty happy with that one there, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think they are. I don't think they were a very strong team. We thought they'd do well in this, but they kind of just dominated this. They just went away from the front, and that was the end of it. No chance for anyone to catch them. But great to see him happy with that, isn't it? I think it's good for Mick. It's I bet run of second places recently, so nice to win something at last.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe it'll break his duck. We've got Nations Cup qualifying, Manufacturer Series qualifying coming up as well. Maybe this will be exactly what he needs to do. We're going to have a look at some replays in a few moments' time here in New York as well, and piece together exactly what happened during that Pro-Am exhibition race here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. So down towards that first turn, well, it was Super GT who was on the defensive already and managed to hold on to that lead in the first corner. This was a bit of contact as well with Montoya into the back of Matt Gallagher at turn 7, which subsequently sent him into the back of the car in front as well. Here's Ismail and Red in the early stage. In fact, that would have been Valverde, rather, I should say, and Miyazono behind the wheel of that car. That was where they went 3 wide for a few times, and it got very exciting down in towards this hairpin, not for the first time or the last time.
Yeah, that was an interesting move there from Valverde, who came from, you see it again, it's just, yeah, it wasn't really on. He tried his best, he thought he'd give it a go, and unfortunately Lopez, here's the onboard with that. So you see how much it means to those guys down there. And of course, in the dying laps of the race, we had Fraga chasing down Matt Simmons. Matt Simmons goes wide down at the bottom of the course there. Fraga takes second position, which is where he would finish.
Exactly, brilliant stuff. And Super GT and Mikael Hazal taking victory in the Pro-Am exhibition race then here in the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. Let's take a look, shall we, at the final results from that race and just give you confirmation of who finished where following the checkered flag. We'll get there for you in just a couple of moments' time. But, well, very exciting. A great display of driving as well from Steve and also Mick.
I'm going to be the one to say it. I'm quite impressed with JPM, with Montoya.
Yeah,
Doesn't really, he's said before, he hasn't really driven with a wheel before on Gran Turismo. He was up to, was it P5 by T1?
Yeah, his moves were very impressive. Bar that one mistake that we saw him make in that final sector, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I see him on the screen just now, just having a bit of a chat with some of the other drivers there. I think he seems pretty happy with himself down there.
I think so too. And, well, what a fantastic ambassador he has been for Michelin as well. And finishing on the podium is a great result for him. So Super GT and Hizao take victory in the Pro-Am exhibition race. Montoya and Fraga in second. Gallagher and Simmons in third place. Then it's Greer and Kokibun, Kaluski and Lukovsky inside your top 5. Then Fernie and Lopez, Ishmael and Miyazono, Reed and McMillan in 8th place. Inside the top 10 as well, Ren and Valverde. Bird and Pinnell in 10th position. And then Abernathy. And then, of course, Abernathy and that machine just a little bit further down the order. That, of course, is Nicolas Rubelar, who is down there as well. Disappointment there for Nicolas Rubelar. He'll have hoped for a better result, but finishing down in 11th places, probably not where he wanted to be.
I did watch him in practice. I think he kind of, the AM driver maybe not quite up to the level of the guys at the top there, and I think he just accepted it. He was like, okay, fair enough. That's what it's going to be.
Well, exactly. And, well, brilliant stuff. And I tell you what, it was interesting to see what the drivers were going to do in terms of strategy. Pretty much everybody pitted in on lap 4, didn't they, really? Just got the amateur drivers out the way, put the pros in the car, and see how the race turned out.
It's got to be realistic, really. You know, if you're one of the AM drivers out there, you aren't going to be as quick as the pro drivers. Get them in as soon as possible. And I was interested to see Super GT come in, because for those at home, I'd say Super GT is not far off the level of the guys here. So I thought maybe Mick would give him one more lap out there. But nope, in on lap 4, just the rest of them. Really.
Well, it seemed to pay dividends, didn't it, really? As soon as Mick got out in that car, that lead was at 4.5 seconds, pretty much a constant throughout Super GT stint. Then we saw Mick in the car. It increased to 9.1 seconds.
I tell you what, Matt Gallagher did it right, didn't he?
Did well, very well.
It was about a 4-second gap which kind of remained at that level pretty much the entire time in the car. So keeping up with someone like Super GT, I can't do that. So it's all right, really, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very impressive as well. What about Cody Lukovsky as well? We saw him involved in a lot of strife. There was a great battle going on for 6th position over the course of that race, which came to a head with Valverde making a complete mess of that braking zone down at turn 10.
Yeah, Cody being involved in instances is something that we've seen a lot over the course of the World Tour event, something that he's working on, he tells me. But yeah, just being very aggressive, as we've seen before. Great action down the team. We had 3 wide going over the line. I mean, that's what we want to see.
Yeah, we certainly did. Well, it's time to go to the podium then for the Pro-Am exhibition race here in New York. So you can see the Michelin man on the right-hand side of your screen. So, welcoming onto the stage in 3rd position, it's Matt Gallagher and Matt Simmons. High fives all round from the Michelin man, and the Michelin caps on the podium there as well. And now time for 2nd position then. It is Juan Pablo Montoya and Igor Fraga. And the winners of the Pro-Am exhibition race here in New York. It is Steve Brown, Super GT. And alongside him, of course,
Mick Hizao.
Mikael Hizao.
Oh, Tom. He's in there somewhere.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to find my way through the list. It's been such a busy afternoon. And Mikael Hizao making his way onto the podium there as well. And a Thrustmaster TGT. Well, that must be like the 10th Thrustmaster wheel he's got now.
Add that to his collection, I think. What a fine addition for his collection. There you go.
All the drivers on the podium here for the Pro-Am exhibition race in New York then. Celebrations all round from the drivers. Steve Brown on the left-hand side of your picture and Mikael Hizao as well. Let's head down then to Julia, shall we?
Wow, well done. How do you feel?
Blessed.
Best fans.
I mean, obviously getting in the pole position was a help. I mean, you just beat JPM.
Well, it just happened, I guess. So.
You're going to dine on out on that for a little while, surely?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Overwhelmed, clearly. Oh, Juan Pablo, how did you find it?
It was really interesting. It was a lot of fun. You know, I don't play a lot of PlayStation, to be honest. I think it's really, really cool. I used to play Gran Turismo back in the day when the first and the second one came out. I used to spend a lot of hours on it. Actually now I do like big simulators just for work and not enough time to play. But it was really cool, and you can tell for his awkwardness that he spends a lot of time in front of the screen.
Wow. Okay, Igor, Fraga, how did you find it? Obviously, getting to race with a legend.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very cool to watch it. You know, F1 race winner and also like an IndyCar champion race.
You're going to be here for 10 minutes if you go through it all.
Yes, but it was very cool to see him watch like live and see his techniques and everything. It was a very special moment.
Well, congratulations, everyone. That's a big round of applause for the winners there of our first Pro-Am. And we're going to chuck it upstairs now to Tom and Jimmy. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, thank you very much indeed there, Julia. Well, blessed for Mikael Hizal. I think he's pretty pleased with that one.
And they both are, really. You know, I don't expect anything less from those guys on the podium, to be honest. But fantastic to see all the guys on the podium. Great to see old Juan Pablo up there as well, of course.
Less of the old. I don't think he'll appreciate that.
Sorry, young and sprightly Juan Pablo Montoya. And, of course, Matt Gallagher up there as well. So,
yeah, good stuff.
Good podium.
Yeah, that's good content for WTF1, isn't it? Let's be fair. We know what their next video is going to be about, isn't it? It really was absolutely brilliant. And what was your standout moment? Just pick one very quickly for the race, Jimmy.
I think just the free wide over the line. It just goes to show these guys, even in the Pro-Am race, they're going to just go at it as hard as they can. Very competitive guys. Great to see them race.
Well, don't forget, of course, the Nations Cup and the Manufacturer Series events coming up here in New York. Tomorrow, of course, we've got the Manufacturer Series. On Sunday, we have the Nations Cup. So whatever you do, be sure to tune in for the FIA certified Gran Turismo Championships here for World Tour 3 in New York.